Arsenal won their first game of the season 2-0 against Wolves in a comfortable victory. Now, man the match of the game was definitely Bukayo Saka, who carried Arsenal through when they needed it the most, providing a goal and an assist on the day, but having great play overall. In this video, we're going to go through exactly why he looks even better this season than last, and his new role within the team that is making this happen. So let's get into it. Now, before the start of this season, Bukayo Saka was, of course, I believe, Arsenal's best player and the leading factor for the team. He is the main forward that we need and that electric player that can provide anything when you need it. Now, something that he has been doing is helping the other players around him a lot and working off them to make them better. I think people like Odegaard have looked better when they're near Saka, and he can often do everything he needs at any given moment, including defending, running past players, creating and goal scoring all himself. Now, I think in this game it proved that he is the main guy for the team and they are no longer using him as part of the cog for the team to work. He is the main outlet of attack that we need, but we've got to be careful when we pass him the ball, and we're not going to give him the ball every 3 seconds. Last season we had a problem where we kept giving the ball to Saka and Odegaard, and it became very predictable where they could get players over there a lot more. But in this game we actually had the continued factor of the left field of the team actually being workable and Martinelli getting the ball quite a few times in the box. Overall, this stretched Wolves out and actually gave the space to Saka that he finally craved for, which obviously gave Arsenal brilliant results in this game. Now, a great example of where Saka can actually do everything for this team is this move here, where Saka goes and presses out Nori, the left back for Wolves, very high, and out Nori makes a poor control of the ball when he's in behind, and straight away Saka is on him. Saka tackles him, turns him and gets away from him, which already is brilliant play, and then he's able to put a through ball through for Declan Rice, producing the run from midfield. There's many times as well Saka did really good defensive actions. He pressed anyone down on his side, he pressed Totti a lot, he pressed out Nori a lot, and of course there's many moments where Saka can keep the ball with multiple players around him and put the ball through for someone around his teammates. This kept giving Arsenal chances in the first half. Every time Wolves went down his side they kept making mistakes. There was a few slips, there was a few times where they missed control, and every time Saka was there to quickly give the ball off to Odegaard and then to shift into the middle. Now, we know Saka is brilliant in space and we'll get into what he did in space a bit later, but first of all, in tight pressure with a lot of players around him, he's also elite in every metric. He was getting into the box and helping players on his side such as Havertz, where he would make sure he would be there with the ball, and his dribbling, close quarter dribbling around out Nori a few times got him and he got a shot away, and somehow Saka just manages to keep evading pressure and keep producing quality for Arsenal in the attacking third. And something that is really interesting is that he starts very wide when Arsenal are attacking, obviously to create width and be able to get that space out there, making out Nori run towards him. But if Arsenal are to go down the left side, which we did a few times, he actually angles his run to move inside of the pitch slowly, getting closer to the box. Now, I actually saw Brighton do this a lot against Everton as well, where they would start very wide to create that width, and then slowly as the ball gets closer and closer to the pitch, higher up the attacking third, they would get closer within the box and be on the inside of the defenders. This helps not only for back post crosses where you can try and win headers, and Saka had a few times where he got in there, and I'd say his heading ability isn't quite there right now because he hasn't done this a lot, but at least he's getting in the right positions. And it also allows Arsenal to have significant space out on the right side because Ben White can then come in and overlap if he needs to, or be there for a shot, because out Nori or Totti, whoever's tracking him, will be inside the box making sure he doesn't get that head and the back post. And I think these constant movements by Arsenal's attacking line were causing Wolves considerable problems. Saka was getting into heaps of space down the right side over a half an hour into the game where he could continue to create things. And the problem for Arsenal last season was Saka wasn't getting this space consistently near the box because teams were just 2v1ing him or 3v1ing him, with knowing that he's going to be out there and Odegaard's going to be close to him, and they can almost shadow up both of them within the same move. Odegaard, I think, was another big reason why Saka was so effective in this game. Odegaard had spells where he moved down the left side and he was a lot more freer in his role than necessarily being in that right half space that we've seen. Not only that, he also got into the box when Arsenal went down the wing significantly and didn't always stay on the edge of the box like we've seen him before. He did sometimes, but sometimes he would happily go in there and create another man to try and let someone like Partey, who's going to be behind him, be able to be the person just outside the box. Now, because Odegaard wasn't exactly next to Saka, and I think Partey was actually probably the closest midfielder to him, Partey did not go down the wing because that's not really his game. This created a lot of space for Saka because one of the midfielders who would be tracking one of them couldn't shadow mark both of them within the same move and had to even decide to go to Partey or Saka, given one of them lots of space. And they kept struggling with Saka because they didn't know whether to go out to him quick enough or not. And even with the goal, it's a 2v1 situation because the Wolves player runs back to try and cover that. But even then, he still doesn't know if it's worth going to him, and he is telling his fullback to keep and press Saka, but they are scared to do this because of his dribbling ability, especially considering within the space that they have here, he could go down the right side with people like Gabriel being in the box from the second phase of the corner, or he could come inside and cross it into the players that he can. So the idea is probably just to block the cross rather than letting him go past you, because that could be an easier situation for them not to concede from. And ultimately it is just too slow, and obviously Saka, if you give him that space, he's going to take it, and he has a brilliant cross, and Havertz gets in front of the goalkeeper with a brilliant header as well. And you can see later in the game that Wolves were a lot more scared to see what Saka was going to do, so they did try to get out to him. So Aït-Nouri tried being very tight to him deeper, and it didn't really work because Saka kept turning them and getting free kicks. Ultimately Wolves defended well because they had a lot of people back, but it was causing considerable pressure that they didn't really want to give up. And obviously with the second goal, it's transition. They're not really prepared for it because it's an early free kick, and yet again the midfielder João Gomes doesn't know whether to go towards Saka and double up with his fullback or try and shadow mark the run by Odegaard that he could potentially make. He knows that could be a threat for a goal, and in the end Odegaard actually runs past him with Partey sitting back, which we saw a few times in this game, but by then it was given up the space. He looks back and already Bukayo Saka has shot, and this shot is very intelligent. He saw that João Sá was actually towards his far post waiting for that shot, and we all know that Saka loves a far post shot. He does it very often. He doesn't really do near post shots that much, especially in this area, but he saw the space that was there that Jose Sá was giving up, and he ended up taking it with a brilliant effort, getting a brilliant goal and assist. And obviously everyone's going to look at the goals and assists and realise he had a great game, but he individually was brilliant everywhere on the pitch. His defensive work was great, 5 defensive actions, 4 recoveries, 1 clearance, 2 tackles out of 2. He was fighting, you know, he had 4 won duels and 5 lost, which I think is a lot more than you see Saka really get into. And he was just finally so creative. We know he gets high touches in the opposition box, 15 touches, having 5 shots a game, which you want by one of your best shooters and best players, and an XG plus X assist of 0.73 shows that he accurately made a difference on the game and was always probably going to get a goal or assist either way. His connection with Kai Havertz I think is brilliant as well. I think another year of them and another few months of them being up front, you can see that them two understand when to move off each other and when to come closer, which I think worked even more in the second half. And him being able to come off 80 minutes into the game with a job well done, us being able to rest him and bring other players on such as Jesus and Trossard even in that right wing spot, I think will make the team better, giving him that considerable rest that he deserves and needs. Let me know what you guys think about Bukayo Saka's performance. Was there anyone else you want me to go through in this game that you thought was really good or really bad maybe? And let me know what you think about this in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you want to watch any more Arsenal videos. So thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.